Alright, the BMW guys here. Third problem. Week after the first, a week after my 90-day eval, you see the engine lights on. The BMW Service guys here. Don't know what's wrong with the car. Again, hey man, I'm telling you, this car, at this point I would not recommend anybody buy this car. The issue said, the reason why we call it said the TPI, the tire pressure indicator, was wrong. He just checked that. Engine light came on, so he's checking the oil. And look at and that's in kilometers. That's not even miles. So we don't even have 5,000 miles on this car. Alright, the BMW service tech just left. He couldn't figure it out with the diagnostic tool that they have inside of their little service vehicle. I just converted the units from kilometers to miles. You can see this car has about 3,400 miles. So again, 3,400 miles and 100 days old. Right at 100 days. This is its 100th day since we picked this car up on April 30th. I got the BMW Mobility Care service sheet there that I have to go drive up now to the service center that's about an hour away. The wife's following me in the Lexus. You can see the engine light is still on for whatever reason. And this is, again, this comment here is going back to the my overall comment about the BMW Military Service experience. If you want to see that video or those videos, you can also watch that. But it goes back to that. You know, the engine light's on. The car obviously has a problem. They don't tow it. I think that would have happened had I been in the States, or at least it would have happened with Audi, because it's happened to me before with the Audi. They don't put the car at any unnecessary risk. You know, had I been on the road, they'd have said, yes, drive it here and leave it here. But I had this car parked at home, and they actually came to get it, or yeah, they came to check it out, and they said, well, since it's not something that prevents the car from moving, or it's not a warning that prevents that says you should not drive the car, they're saying just drive it up, to the service center again, which is about an hour away, and already a little bit more than an hour actually, and it has an engine problem. Whether or not it's just a sensor, who knows. I will tell you something that is disappointing from a service standpoint is anytime you drop the car off, we should get a replacement vehicle. But they're not going to do this time. It's a Saturday here in South Korea right now. So I'm dropping the car off. They're not even going to look at the car until Monday. And then they'll decide if they're supposed to give me a loaner car on Monday. So if I want the loaner car, I'm assuming I'd have to drive, in our other car to go pick up that loaner car, which I think is ridiculous. Anywhere else, I'm pretty sure anywhere else, hey, when you drop the car off, especially if it has a problem, they give you a loaner car. I'm not coming up there for a normal service check or at my, because I want to, at my discretion. I think I just need my car checked out. I'm coming up there because there's an issue with the car. So you should give me, immediately you should have a loaner car prepared. I think that's ridiculous that they don't do that. So that goes back to the BMW military sales experience that you get out here in South Korea as an American if you buy a car in that fashion. I'm pretty sure had I bought this car on the South Korean economy that they would give me a replacement car immediately. That they wouldn't just say, oh, well, we're going to look at it Monday, 2 or 3 days later, or two days after the fact, and then I'm pretty sure they're not going to bring me, the replacement car, the loaner car. So just throwing this out there. At this point, I think I've said it before, at this point, at least for the 550i Xdrive, the car that I own, the car that I'm now stuck with, for the next 4 or 5 years, and BMW does not respond, because when I send BMW email, they say, hey, you bought this car through military sales, you got to handle your issues out there. So BMW USA is no help, BMW Germany is no help, and BMW South Korea is no help because I didn't buy the car from them. I bought the car from a military sales program, so they typically use that as a way to get out. So again, for you guys that are buying these cars, if you have any issues with the military sales program, best of luck. But again, back to what I was originally saying before I got sidetracked, for the 550i Xdrive 2014, I would definitely say fail at this point. 100 days, 3 problems. Ran out of oil or ran low on oil in 2,500 miles. This problem right here, don't even know what this is. And then at 18 days from the time we picked the car up, we had a major driving malfunction. The car would not go to speed. It simply said, take the car to the service center. I don't even know, you know, we never really even figured that out. They told us 3 different things, from GPS to turbo to gas, all that sort of stuff. So at this point, I would say a fail. You know, I'm gonna give it a C, you know, just because it looks nice. This is the best looking car that I've ever seen when it doesn't work. You know, just to look at, even if it doesn't work, doesn't drive anywhere, hey, it looks awesome. So that's why it gets a C. But I'll tell you what, to drive and have the confidence in this car, this is a huge fail. My wife prefers to drive our 4.5-5-year-old Lexus at this point. She's like, you know what? Thanks for the gift, but you can keep it. You know how much that sucks to buy somebody a gift that's a piece of crap? You know, that's what I got right here, man. I got my wife a $85,000 piece of crap gift. So at this point, I would say this car is a huge fail. If you buy it, best of luck to you. I'm sure, you know, out of the tens of thousands of units that they've made, I'm one of those, you know, that percentage, if you will, that will experience all the problems that I'm experiencing. So it sucks for me, but I'm gonna let you know that it definitely reflects against the brand. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna, you know, until this car actually shows improvement, I'm gonna continue to bash BMW at this point. This is ridiculous. Like I said before, I mean, if the car was mine, for me specifically, I wouldn't be so pissed, but because I bought this car for my wife, I mean, this is just like the worst case experience that you can have. You know, you buy somebody a gift and they're all happy, and literally not even 4 months later, you know, their car is on the 3rd problem. So that definitely sucks. You know, for me, I've owned and driven German cars for the past 12 to 14 years. So I, to be honest with you, I expect it. I have not had one that didn't have some sort of mechanical issue, service required issue outside of what's, you know, the normal scheduled services. But I would say this for you guys that are thinking about buying cars as a gift. If you know, if reliability is high up there, I'd say in the top 2, top 3 as far as what your gift needs to do, don't buy a German car. Go buy an Asian car. And I know that sucks because you got to give up on some of that prestige, you know, that comes with the German cars that, you know, kind of signify, if you will, that you've made it. But I will tell you, it's not worth it to me if it's going to be a gift. If it's your car, hey, you know, you can deal with it. But if you're going to buy somebody a gift, you know, you want them to have a gift that is going to work, you know, all the time. You'd rather them have a gift that they know that, hey, when they get in that car, it's gonna work. It's gonna do everything that it's supposed to do, i.e. get them somewhere, and it'll have some of the nice tech, some of the nice bells and whistles, you know, that the German. All right, I'm actually turning around. I've been stuck in traffic. It's 10:30 Saturday morning, heading up towards Seoul. Traffic is just too bad. This is actually a nice break, but for the most part, for the last 20 minutes, I've been driving about 2 to 3 miles an hour. I'll just take this car up during the weekday. But actually, you know, the funny part, it goes back to the service that I talked about earlier, and the differences as far as expectations with American service and then Korean service. They just actually called my wife and told my wife, since they believe it's only an air sensor issue, I say again. Because of that, they said, hey, just drive the car because we may not have the parts. It's safe to drive for about 2 weeks. To me, that doesn't make any sense. The car doesn't have a light on, an indicator or warning light, if everything is fine. And when you're basing your if you will, your testament to us off of an assumption that it is, you know, an air sensor problem. Don't tell me to drive the car. Don't tell my wife to just continue to drive the car for 2 weeks because you don't have, you know, the parts on hand, because this is an American spec car, so they got to order them, and they don't want to give us a loaner car. That's what I thought was really weird. They don't want to give us a loaner car. They're like, oh, we don't have loaner cars available. It's like, hey man, look, at this point, just give us a car. I don't even care if it's a 3 Series, you know, but don't tell us that you don't have a loaner car. But, you know, if had you been in the States, or had I bought this from a Korean spec BMW dealer, they would not be telling you that. But they're telling us this because it falls, you know, being a military sales purchase, it falls in that gap that's out here where they don't really care to honor, or they don't honor it first. You know, they honor their the patrons that have bought their cars, their Korean spec cars, from these, you know, from these dealers out here. So again, just sharing that with you guys. Keep that in mind. You know, if your car has an issue and it's a US spec car, if it needs some work, you know, this may be how you're going to get treated. And this is how I was treated the last 2 times. And again, the guy that, you know, my service rep, the guy that sold me the car, I can't get in touch with him. You know, it's a Saturday. I'm sure, you know, he's a young man. I'm pretty sure he's got other things to do outside of answer his phone on a Saturday.